Alright, so I saw the film Avatar, and I would like to just quickly draw attention to a couple of things within the film, as they seemed to be points that lacked forethought. Before I begin, I would like to point out, however, that I did thoroughly enjoy many aspects of the film. I just felt that these were sorts of things that really needed to be better thought through before the film was made. And in the case of future works, this applies to any writer, not just James Cameron. You really need to just sit down and examine it and look for things that don't quite add up, like the things I'm about to go through. One, the Na'vi, as they are called by humans, and Na'vi, as they are pronounced by their own species, are giant blue humans. Basically, they're not... They don't look like anything else on their planet, except for the fact that a lot of things on that planet are blue, except everything else has 6 limbs when they have 4, everything else has 4 eyes when they have 2. Nothing else seems to have hair except them, and they have very human-styled hair. Nothing else on the planet seems to be capable of a smile, which that's very easy to rebut. But remember that it's a very, very human display, and you can't just say, oh yeah, well, it's universal, because it's not. The only things on Earth that smile are humans, dogs that were raised by humans, monkeys that were raised by humans, and some cats, and when cats do it, it's not a smile at all. Smiling is essentially a baring of teeth, which is a challenge to battle, a challenge to a fight, or a threat among so many other species, which is why so many animals will actually cower in response to a smile, and some will get quite aggressive in response to a smile. It's a famous thing out of Larry Niven's known Space series with the Zinti. Anyway, the point I'm making here is these creatures that live on another planet very far away, even if it is only 4.4 light years, 4.4 light years. They look like nothing else on their planet, yet they look almost exactly like humans, and it just stands out too much as these aren't aliens, these are just humans. They look very, very, very specifically similar to Africans, I found at some points. Not just like people of African descent, but people who are African in Africa. And for that reason, it felt too much like a racial commentary all the way through. And, it's fine if it was a racial commentary, but just don't cram it down my throat like. A second problem I had was the fact that the Na'vi referred to, they went through and they kept saying that we're very in touch with nature and everything has its own life force and you've got to respect that life force, but it's okay to mind rape pterodactyls and force them to do our bidding. It seemed a bit of a hypocritical gesture right towards the end of us learning about their culture and who they are, and then suddenly, you see a man stick some part of him into some part of a pterodactyl and wrestle it to the ground, whispering in its ear, "You're mine now." It just really didn't seem to fit with the rest of the race's culture, and I felt that it was maybe a line crossed that shouldn't have been crossed. I mean, it's fine to I mean, I had problems at first with the idea of this entire planet that seems to be USB capable, and just everything has this cable thing that can go with another cable thing anywhere else in the planet and allows you some kind of telepathy. I mean, look, I'm willing to accept some portion of convenience, but that's just too convenient, and it wears you down while you're watching it, and you suspend your disbelief when you walk in, but it just falls apart with time as you watch convenient evolutionary coincidence after convenient evolutionary coincidence occur over and over again, and you're just sitting there saying, when is some portion of realistic forethought going to occur in this writing process? Because I'm not seeing any signs of anyone having said, I'm going to write a sci-fi rather than I'm going to write a fantasy. Except there were spaceships. There were spaceships. The other thing, of course, and this is by no means an of course issue, is the race was called by the humans the Na'vi, and they were called in the ads the Na'vi, and their language was referred to as Na'vi. And the scientists who were teaching the main character the language referred to the language as Na'vi, and then in that language there is no word Na'vi used in the subtitles, which is fine. However, the word Na'vi is used in spoken language when the word people appears in subtitles, which makes me jump fairly rapidly to the conclusion that the word in that language for their race, and hence their language, was actually Na'vi, not Na'vi. And then you've got to ask yourself, why would someone who's being so pedantic about the pronunciation of a language that they're trying to teach get the actual name of the language wrong? And that's yet another one of those frustrating points that I'm guessing that only I and 2 or 3 other linguists on Earth actually picked up. But it's still a little frustrating. So anyway, now that I've finished ranting, I liked the movie. I felt it could have been louder and have more strange evolutionary coincidences, but overall, it was good.
If you think you can get away with not subscribing to Carpe Clunes, think again.